Hello, everyone, or hello to both of you. Whale, whale oil beef seems to like my streams. I appreciate it. Gordon Causey coming to you live, unscripted on this. What day is it? We're Saturday, June 29th. It's 11:17, a couple minutes late. I didn't get Candy's treat ready, and so she's not going to get one. You can just forget it. No treat tonight. No treat. Go lay down. Go lay down. That's good enough. You're fine. Go lay down. Wanted to tell a couple jokes tonight. Joe Biden jokes. Something I found interesting is my channel, this miserable little channel with no production values. It's just a laptop, no lighting, no microphone, none of this stuff. Just an ordinary average guy living here in a little town called Brighton, Ontario. And so my videos typically were getting a few dozen hits, and sometimes if I hit a nerve, if I was topical on something, my videos might get a few hundred. Like I did a couple during the trucker convoy, supporting the truckers who were protesting COVID mandates back in, I think, February of 2022. A couple of those got a few hundred hits. I did one the day that the Georgia Guidestones got blown up, and that one got a few hundred, but usually a few dozen. And then I did one on Trudeau jokes. And the first one I did on Trudeau jokes got 30,000 something, somewhere around 30,000 views, which is insane for me. And so I did a few more, and they were generating in the thousands of hits. So last night I did one on a Joe Biden joke, and I was thinking, well, there are 300 million plus Americans, only 30, 40 million Canadians. There's almost 10 times as many Americans. Maybe instead of 30,000, maybe I'll get 300,000. And I've only had 50 or so, but I think I know why. And that's because everybody's talking about Joe Biden. Everybody. I don't think a lot of people are telling Justin Trudeau jokes. So that made it somewhat unique, but it's making fun of Joe Biden is very low hanging fruit. It's a little unkind. I mean, seriously, the man is so addled. I mean, he's so out of it. He's being his wife, Jill Biden, is being accused of elder abuse. I think she's 8 or 9 years younger. He's 81 or 82. She's like 73, 74. She's a spring chicken compared to him. But, I know plenty of 80-year-olds who are plus, even 90-year-olds who are sharp as a tack. Joe Biden is suffering from dementia, early stage Alzheimer's, something. That's my opinion. I'm no doctor. But I mean, just based on what I've seen, and I'm not the only one saying it, the lights are on, but nobody's home. So anyway, I'll give you a couple jokes. First one is Joe and is advised by his doctor. And of course, his short-term memory issues comes up during their examination. And the doctor says to Joe, he says, now look, Joe, as people age, it's not uncommon for short-term memory issues to crop up. As we age, the synapses in the brain, they don't fire as quickly. It's different for everyone, but it appears you're having difficulty. So what I suggest to my older patients when they're having memory problems is I suggest keeping a pad and paper around, and anything, no matter how small, write it down. If you're going to if you're going into a store, before you go in, write down what you want to get, even if it's just one item. If you get up to go into another room to get the nail clippers, write it down. Getting nail clippers. That way, when otherwise you may get into the room and forget what you went to look for. And Jill's saying, okay, we're going to do this, Doc. And they go back to the White House. And that evening, Joe gets up very slowly, and Jill, his wife, says, what are you doing? Joe says, well, I'm going to go get myself some ice cream. And Jill says, well, why don't you just have one of the staff bring it to you from the kitchen? He goes, no, I can still get my own ice cream. And he starts walking. She goes, well, listen, it's going to take you a couple, 3 minutes to get to the freezer, to get to the kitchen. Write it down. Do what the doctor said. Write down ice cream. And Joe's like, no, I'm not that bad yet. I can remember ice cream. She goes, no, you should write down. Sometimes you like chocolate sauce and you like other things, sprinkles on it. Write down exactly what you want so you'll remember when you get there. And he goes, no, I'm fine. And he slowly shuffles his way to the kitchen, and it takes him 3-4 minutes to get there. And Jill's in a lounge in a sitting in a TV room just watching the news, but she hears banging and clattering of pots and pans, and she's wondering what is going on, but she's watching her show. And she's living the life. She's the first lady, living in luxury in the White House. Oh well, sure, nothing can happen to him. She hears the banging and the clattering, and then about half an hour later, Joe comes shuffling back in carrying a plate, and he sits down. He's got scrambled eggs and bacon on her plate, and Jill said, I told you should have listened to the doctor. Your memory isn't what it used to be, Joe. And he looks down at the plate and he goes, oh my gosh, you're right. I forgot the toast. So there's another Joe Biden joke. I have one more. I'm kind of just basically repurposing, I think would be the word, jokes. I see I have Sharunian back. Rick Astley and Gordon Causey. Same. Oh, great. Never going to give. Great guy to have to share a birth year with. Although I'm sure I'm not the only 58-year-old soon to be. I will be 58 this coming month, July. Pardon me, I'm not going to give away the actual day, but it's in July. Anyway, the second joke. During his campaign, Joe is out campaigning, and he visits a nursing home. Seems somewhat fitting. So Joe's in the nursing home. He's checking it out, and they take him into a room in the independent living wing shared by two gentlemen. And he's looking around the room. He's doing his little, like one of those Rumba automated vacuum cleaners, just wandering around looking. And one of the gentlemen says, I'm going to have myself a bath. So the gentleman goes to the bathroom, closes the door, runs the water, and he gets undressed, and he puts one foot into the tub, and then the guy's standing there going, was I getting into the tub, or was I getting out of the tub? Was I getting in the tub, or was I getting out of the tub? I can't remember. Was I getting in the tub, or was I getting out of the tub? And his roommate, Joe Biden's looking at this, and then the roommate goes, I should go and check and see that he's okay. And he stumbles over and gets to the bathroom door, and he opens the bathroom door and puts a foot in the door, and he goes, was I going in the bathroom, or was I coming out of the bathroom? Was I going into the bathroom, or was I going out of the bathroom? And Joe Biden looks at this guy and he goes, oh my God, thank God I'm not that bad. Touch wood. Was that the front door, or was that the back door? Was that the... And that's the joke. Anyway, what does Sharunian say? Canada is in 2 days. What is in 2 days in Canada? What's your thoughts on Princess Diana? Do you think it was planned crash? Absolutely 100%. I think that she was taken out. I mean, I think there are a lot of us who think that Diana was taken out. I strongly suspect Dodi Al-Fayed, whatever her boyfriend's name was, I think that was it. Dodi, I think she was probably expecting a child. Uh, I've got no use for the British royal family whatsoever. Anyway, I see I have 6 people watching. I didn't have much to talk about tonight. There's a lot of things on my mind, but I want to keep these videos somewhat focused and, along whatever I title it. And this one is titled, a couple, I think, titled it a couple, two Joe Biden jokes. But I see I already have 3 thumbs up. If you like the jokes, you're welcome to repeat them to others. You can share my video if you like, miserable as it is. Super Soldier Gordo. Don't call me Gordo. Gordo in Spanish means fatso. El Gordo. And like anyone, I could stand. I got a gut. I don't like to show it off, but I've got too much gut. And it's, I'm 58. I mean, I don't expect I'm not expecting a 6-pack at my age, but be nice. I still very young at heart. Anyway, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to have another video tomorrow night. So around this time, around 10:30, 11, sometime between 10 and midnight. Daniel Copeman, greetings from Montreal, Canada. C'est votre salutation standard, Daniel. I like to speak French, second language. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll keep it short. Short is good because then people stumbling on say, okay, 13, 14, 15 minutes. Okay. If they see an hour and a half, they go, too long. And the sheriff of YouTube says, Salut, je suis pas le seul qui parle français. I'm not the only one who speaks French. Anyway, God bless. Talk to you all soon. We'll have I'm going to do a long one tomorrow. Yes, I do like Sunday nights. But Whale Oil Belief said, Hook, great start. Yeah, if ice cream gets tested positive for COVID in China, expect it would be put straight into isolation. Oh, insane times. And I get the impression something's coming. I just, the U.S. election, we saw what happened in 2020. I mean, the entire COVID insanity is what supposedly necessitated the use of mail-in ballots. And would they do it again? Try something of the same. I think something's coming down the line. Something's coming down the line. I do not think they want Donald Trump as president because he's a loose cannon. He's too unpredictable. Yeah. He may be right. He may be wrong. I don't always, I find his personality a little grating. But if it's choice between Biden or Trump, it's Trump every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I mean, but I'm a Canadian, so I get no say regardless. But anyway, Daniel Copeman agrees. Trump. I think anyone who watched that debate, the funniest part I thought was when Biden went off on some disjoined little, well, the COVID and the economy, and he was just going off and all kind of his train is completely off the rails, and Trump's kind of looking at him, and I forget what he even said. I don't think, and they asked Trump, Mr. President, would you like to respond? And Trump said, I don't know what he said. I don't even think he knows what he said. And bang on the money. He was definitely, Daniel Copeman is talking about what drugs was he on, what drugs was Biden on, whatever they were, they didn't work. I didn't watch the whole debate. I just watched snippets. I mean, it's a train wreck. I actually do. It's like if you've ever gone to a comedy show and seen a comedian crash and burn and you feel sorry for them. I feel that way about Joe Biden. I mean, he's just, the lights are, I mean, it's an old expression. I don't like using old, worn out expressions, but, the light's on, but no one's home. But it's the most fitting description there is. Copeman says in military terms, it was I'm not going to say that. I try not to engage in too much profanity. Whale oil beef hooked says, you don't say. As they say, bird flu seems destined to interrupt the world's freedom, including the US election process. I think something's coming. And I think now more than ever, Americans are waking up to the fact Trump popularized. I don't know if he invented the term deep state. I don't know whether he created that term, but he certainly popularized it before he started, and maybe he was the first to come up with it. But if he wasn't, he blew it up, and he got a lot of flack back in 2016, 2015, talking about the deep state. Now, seeing a guy like Biden, who's just the poster child of senior moments, seeing him as president, there's no way that how is it that the U.S. government is able to continue functioning when the commander in chief, I mean, I know that's a militaristic term, but it's also, he has to sign every piece of legislation. Do you really think Joe Biden is reading what's coming across his desk? He's just doing as he's told. They might as well have a robot in there, and he's just a figurehead. And, there's some interesting implications to that, because the U.S. presidency, when the U.S., drafted its constitution, I forget what year, 1783, whatever, after the American Revolutionary War, and they won their independence. Now it's a question of what type of government to have, and they opted for a republic. And then they opted to have these three branches of the executive, the judiciary, the legislative, and the executive. But that wasn't really formalized until later. George Washington, after his second term, was more or less offered the opportunity. It's been reported in many historical accounts. Do you want to become king? Because the idea of an elected president was new to the world. And so the king, or rather the president of the United States, in a fashion is modeled somewhat after the king, the regent, the monarch. The Senate is modeled after the British House of Lords, and the House of Representatives is modeled somewhat after the British House of Commons. So I'm just going to read the last few comments. Daniel Copeman says, U.S. selection process. No kidding. Not an election, selection. And they pick, and they say, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, sorry, Joe, you're not good enough. We can't fool people into thinking that you're in charge. Justin Trudeau is able to give the impression that it's his agenda. Trudeau's as dumb as a sack of doorknobs, but he can put a sentence together, usually reasonably well. A lot of but he can get a cogent thought out. Joe Biden, forget it. Anyway, Sharunian, is Sheriff of YouTube actually a cop? I doubt it. You can have whatever username you want on here. So anyway, God bless. We'll keep it under 20. I always do this. I always say I'm going to wrap up, and then I go on and on and on. I'm like so many of the pastors I see at church who always say, and in conclusion, and then 5 minutes later, and my final point, and then 10 minutes after that, and finally to wrap up. Anyway, God bless everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. I'll do a long live, and hopefully we get lots of interaction. I think it'll probably cover a few topics. Anyway, peace all, and God bless.